Hey you, I'm Anissa. Welcome to Create to Liberate. Today's episode is about lessons learned after living in New York City among hustle culture. I just got back yesterday. This video is relevant to anybody who's going through transition, moving to a new place, exiting workaholism, entering slow living, and developing more compassion for the lessons learned from past experiences. Oftentimes we want to dismiss those experiences and say, that was so out of alignment, but how would we know what alignment is without having had those experiences? As always, I share wisdom from my own lived experience, as I believe we're all each other's mirrors. We provide a mirror to each other to be able to see ourselves more clearly and hopefully empower each other. If you enjoy this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel if you've been supporting. That means a lot. Drop a comment, leave some love, write a review on Spotify. Without further ado, let's get into it. So people can be teachers. Experiences can be teachers. Books of wisdom can teach us things. And so can places. I lived in New York City 2015 and then a year and a half in San Francisco when I was at Google, then came back. And the city really shaped me. Also growing up, I was born in New York, then raised mainly in Montclair, New Jersey. Always was going in and out of the city. It's about a 30-minute commute. And just developed a deep love and sense of home in New York. That said, New York was a very unhealthy place for me to live. My idealization of New York City created a lot of attachment and made it really hard for me to let go of a place that wasn't supporting my health and well-being ultimately. But that said, my time in New York was amazing. And these are 5 lessons that I gained over the past week of visiting the former love of my life. Number 1, personifying people, places, and things brings perspective. So oftentimes you want to take in all the nuance of a situation and there's just almost information overload. When I look back on my experience in New York, if I view New York like a person, me and my brother were having this conversation on the subway. If you view New York like a person, specifically my boyfriend, New York would be a person who has absolutely everything going on. Like on paper, they're so multilingual. They have all the most amazing taste in everything. They're a hustler. They also know how to detach and go hard so they can party and enjoy life. They know how to work and play really hard. It was really helpful to view it as a person. I was like, if this person is a person, like they have everything going on, but they're a maniac and they're kind of crazy. Like this is way too much for one person. And they don't know how to slow down. They're the least chill person. They might know how to woo a room, but they don't know how to sit by your side and just be with you through the hard times. They keep going. They're out the door. That's what New York City is at the end of the day to me. And having that perspective through personification of this place I lived, it's helpful to be like, you know what, that wasn't very good for me. Similarly, you can actually do this with food. So one of the things I struggled with while I was there is what to eat, because I have all these nostalgic eats. Like there's so much good vegan pizza and falafel and just like street food type things, but that's not really healthy for me anymore. I don't really eat in that way anymore. So I had to be in my mind and be like, how are you going to feel after this? Like if this food was a friend, like what would they be like to you? Maybe the vegan pizza is this beautiful, delicious thing up front, but then afterwards I feel kind of lethargic. I don't really have much vitality. You know, that's not an energetic match for me. So then I went for more healthy salad options, green food, more vital whole foods, and I felt more energized and was able to sustain keeping going. So choosing things that choose us back and love us back is a development that New York City taught me. New York City also taught me that creativity is king. The more creative a place is, the more I love it, because creative expression is such a deep, primal, sacral chakra, beautiful thing to experience. And the more that we see it in the world, this like feminine energy, the more I just think the world is a better place. I want to see more creative people across all cities doing things, and New York City remains a hub for some of the best in arts and culture and music. So I hit the ground running. I went to some of the Summer Stage concert series, which is one of my favorite in Central Park. The other runner-up is Celebrate Brooklyn and Prospect Park. Just so much good free arts and culture in New York City, in addition to the paid amazing arts and culture in New York City. There's so much going on in that city. It's unbelievable. And that, for me, will always be everything. That said, New York City also taught me that I can't always go outside of myself to have those experiences. We have to be creative within ourselves. Yes, it's amazing to go to shows for inspiration, take ourselves on artist dates, and The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, the book that I highly recommend. She always talks about taking yourself out, getting re-inspired, especially if you activate your creativity as part of your work. It can get into a more robotic place. So how can you re-inspire yourself? Go out, take in more art. But in New York City, it's like an inundation of absolutely everybody's things. It's easy to just stay a consumer. It's easy to just over-index on doing versus just being. There's a being state of creativity as well through our imagination, through maintaining a beautiful inner world and inner landscape of creativity and playfulness and humor, and being able to see things from multiple perspectives, to be able to create stories and share those stories and self-express. There's so much creativity that I put in the lens of capitalism because I lived in New York City and people work so hard and everybody works to monetize stuff. That's also the lens of the United States, but particularly in New York. Oftentimes things are packaged to be more marketable, but you don't have to subscribe to that. You can exercise your creativity and nurture your inner world. What you have within you is so innately powerful and great and worth attending to. 3, New York City taught me that everything can be a drug. New York City was my choice of drug. Anything that you use to get high and somewhat escape the lows of life. So in New York, it's really easy for me to indulge in going to things, museums, arts, culture, action. Being surrounded by people is also a huge comfort for me. It makes me feel less lonely. And I think it's so powerful for us to get to a place where we start surrendering to the emotions that we've been running away from. And when we feel them on a deep level and we just surrender to them, we see how quickly they pass through us. And it makes us more empowered to live a more risky, more expansive life than ever. So a lot of the experience that I was avoiding in New York City, because New York City was particularly my comfort zone, home for you, might be somewhere that doesn't get you as high, but maybe it is your comfort zone. And what we experience in our comfort zone is sometimes moving us away from the discomforting feelings of loneliness, of sadness, emotions that really need to pass through us. And when I moved here to LA, I was able to experience extreme loneliness, extreme isolation. And then what I got on the other side of that was bliss state, an experience of connectivity to the non-physical world and my friends here more than ever. It was beautiful to see this wave of emotional experience being able to be lived out because I had the solitude to be able to be alone truly in a way that I'd never been able to create in New York City. So oftentimes the emotions that we're scared of feeling, maybe it's being alone and not wanting to be single. There's a beauty to being single and content with being single. Being single and looking and seeking for somebody is tiring, and dating and hoping and putting our energy out. But when we're single and we get to feel the beauty of the love that is within us, and we get to reflect on the abundance of experiences that we've been able to have that we're so deeply loving and connected, then we get to cultivate within ourselves the level of love that, yes, when we share that with other people, they get to experience more love. We get to be a well-forgiving. And so what I didn't honor in being surrounded by people all the time, living with partners, and was just being alone, was feeling emotions fully, feeling my sadness more fully, feeling my anger more fully, and also dissipating that emotional state. Transmutation takes place in those times when we hit low. So we don't want to avoid hitting low because that's the fertilizer for our growth. I believe deeply what we see as suffering tends to be just the teacher for the lesson that we need to learn, then break free of. And we might experience another evolved version of that same lesson, but our soul is definitely here to have expansion in this lifetime. And those lessons that seem so scary, that seem so painful, after we have more perspective on them, seem like such a win. You can think back to moments in your life where you're like, this was the worst experience of my life. How do you feel about it a year out, 2 years out? I think the experiences that I would report back saying were the worst of times, I now say are the best of times, because the way that they changed and shaped me into a person that's more heart opened, more knowing of what's in alignment and what's not. I hope that life shows you what's not for you so that you create boundaries, so that you define who is this person that you authentically are, and then what's not you, and start removing the things that aren't you and for you. Number 4, New York City taught me that maintaining softness takes patience, practice, and work. I thought that softness just came from a natural primal state. I thought some people were just born to be more chill and some people weren't. But in actuality, it takes practice to maintain a level of softness, no matter where you started. Because I started as probably a very soft, sensitive kid, but my edges were built based on my environment. If you live in a place like New York, weirdly, a lot of strong personalities, it helps build you into a more edgy person in being in an environment where you're confronted with a lot more people and edgy personalities, where you're kind of all on top of each other. But if you're surrounded by maybe a more soft environment, your natural state might be more given more space to be honored. And regardless, it still takes practice to open our hearts to operate in a compassionate, empathetic, loving way. It's one thing to just seem soft, seem chill. Like, I'm on the West Coast now, I'm in California. So many people seem soft and chill, but they're not necessarily open-hearted. They're not necessarily moving through the world with a level of empathy and engagement. I ran into my friend from high school on the street, and I hadn't seen her almost 12 years, and I really love this girl. And just the way that we reconnected was just like, it just felt so good. It just felt so good. I love people in that way, and I'm grateful to have maintained that. And one thing that she said to me, she just moved to New York City. She said, I feel like a child moving through the city. I feel so opened up, and I don't know what to do with this. And I said, protect that. Oftentimes we want to harden. We want to put up walls in life. We don't want to feel like a child anymore. We want to feel like this fixed adult with this stoicism and not let things get to us. But we want some of things. We want things to get to us. We just want them to move through us, right? It's not like I don't want to be hurt by people. People will hurt me, and then eventually I'll forgive them. And it passes through me a lot more quickly the more that I just allow myself to be more fluid, not personalize every single person's projections onto us, the hate, the judgment, the shame, whatever it is. We can feel in the moment. We can honor our reactions. We can even be mad at them and be annoyed with them and feel our emotions fully, and then we can also let it go. We can get really good at letting things go and letting the emotion work through us and pass back and be dissipated. Practice of maintaining that softness is not so that you feel vulnerable all the time. It's so that you're truthful about your emotional state and your needs. It's so that you're actually in touch with your heart, and you're not always putting it to the side to accommodate other people. There's times that we do that, but there's also times that we need to be our own protectors and stand up for the child within us as well. We have many parts. There's a part of us that might need freedom. There's a part of us that might need protection. We have to stand up for all of the parts of ourselves as we move through the world. Our inner child is a piece of us. Our inner protector is also a piece of us. Number 5, New York City taught me that diversity at its best feels like a utopia. When you're at a block party in Brooklyn, or you see the concerts that are free and accessible, and the diversity of people in attendance makes me want to cry. It's so beautiful, and people are dancing together. The way that people are sharing love together, it like breaks my heart into a million pieces. It's so beautiful. I got to witness it multiple times in this past week at my friend's wedding in upstate New York. They brought together this beautiful Black, Mexican, Chinese cultural wedding experience. They infused it with some meditation. They infused it with just so much of themselves. And that blending is something that is like using all the crayons in the crayon box. It makes a beautiful rainbow versus like one blue color, one blue and a little purple. I've had moments of just witnessing oneness of people coming together and sharing love. To see that gives me so much hope. I flew back to LA, and ICE is here, and it feels a little bit like a hellscape in the sense that people are being disappeared ultimately, that this country in the US is moving away from democracy. To me, it's a deeply tragic moment, and to see New York celebrating the diversity and the beauty that this country was built on gave me hope, even if I'm not experiencing a reflection of that in my present. I'll end on that. Now is a beautiful time to stand up for your values, to really lean into honoring what you think is valuable in this lifetime, honoring the lessons that you've gained from this lifetime, using your creativity to open hearts and minds and empower people back in this lifetime. I am honestly energetically regaining my mojo after the week of whirlwind, but I am so appreciative of you tuning in. If anything resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Would love conversation among you all. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. If you're listening on audio, give it a 5-star review. Sending you so much love in the days ahead. Appreciate you.